Decentralized finance is already revolutionizing the world of finance. You just don't know it yet.
What happens to the world economy when you bring 6 billion new people online? What happens to poverty across the world when you can extend financial services, opportunity, credit, liquidity?
The greatest dislocation of wealth in human history. What are you going to do? What's the choice that you're going to make? Welcome to DeFi Real. My name is Brian Rose. I'm the founder and host of London Real. This is our brand new program dedicated to everything known as DeFi or decentralized finance. This is a $9 trillion a year marketplace, and I couldn't be more excited. Here, I will teach you how to profit from what I'm calling the greatest dislocation of wealth in human history. It's all happening, and you need to get educated very quick. Today's show, I want to specifically talk about this, and pay attention. How to trade crypto options and DeFi synthetics, how to master volatility and maximize your profit. And today I'm going to be going back to the old days. I started doing this 30 years ago, and I'm going to tell you some old school stories about me trading derivatives and what you can learn from that. Or, as I like to say, how to trade like Gordon Gekko. And today I'm going to teach you these three things. First of all, what are derivatives and why do they matter? Second, I'm going to show you how to price and trade options on crypto and DeFi. And third, I'm going to explain how to understand DeFi synthetics. We've all heard of them, but do you really know what they are? And do you understand the risks involved with synthetics, the liquidity issues, etc.? I'm going to go through this today. And look, we've all seen the news lately. Crypto's crashing. Crypto's back up. Is Bitcoin going to break through 40,000? Who knows? Is it going to drop down below 30,000? Who knows? Is it going to go sideways? You hear all of these things happening out there. And what I see is a lot of people that have no idea what they're doing, right? And that's why I see people taking a bath on their cryptos. They're taking massive losses because basically they're sheep. And as Gordon Gekko used to say in the movie Wall Street, sheep get slaughtered. And Gekko also said, the public is out there throwing darts at a board. And he's talking about you newbie traders. Gekko said, I don't throw darts at a board. I bet on sure things. And he went on to quote Sun Tzu, The Art of War, every battle is won before it's ever fought. Think about that. And that's the way we trade here inside the DeFi Academy. We try to win those battles before they're fought with the way we think, with our stop loss orders, with our strategies. And that's what I want to talk about today. Everything that I learned over the past 30 years is real and it works. And I've done this on Wall Street. I've done this in Chicago. I've done this in London. And I'm going to share it with some stories with you as well. So look, a little back down memory lane. I'm going to tell you a quick story. When I graduated from MIT in 1993, I was fresh, 22 years old. And I packed all of my stuff. I didn't have much, like a futon. And I drove in a van from Boston to New York City. It's a 4-hour drive. And I came in and I moved into New York City and I started working at a company called Bankers Trust. And it was down by the World Trade Center. I'd take the subway into the World Trade Center. This is before it came down. I'd go across the street up to the 33rd floor. I can still see it in my eyes. The Statue of Liberty was out one side. The World Trade Center was directly across the street on the other side. And I remember the first day they sat me down at the desk, 22 years old, they gave me 2 phones and they said, guess what? This one goes to the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, by the way, where they trade Bitcoin futures now. This one goes to Chicago Board of Trade. This box in front of you is a squawk box down to your trader about 100 feet away who trades all U.S. Treasuries, 2-year Treasury note, 10-year Treasury note, up to the 30-year government bond. And you're going to trade right now. And I was like, me, right now? I don't have any training. They said trade. And they basically put me on the US dollar swap book. It's a fixed floating dollar swap book. Again, it's a derivatives book. We probably had $1 trillion at risk on there, and I started trading. Now, later I would go on to trade options and derivatives on the constant maturity treasury desk, which was right next to us. But I started off on the fixed floating desk. And I used to trade boatloads of futures contracts on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange and the Chicago Board of Trade. Now, this is relevant today because the same Bitcoin futures trade on those same exchanges. And I was trading tons of Eurodollar contracts, billions of dollars of US Treasuries over that time. In fact, we did so much volume that our brokers in Chicago would fly out once a month just to take our entire desk out on the town in New York City. And they used to take us to the fanciest restaurants, 20 of us, right? And we would just get up and do a lot of nonsense. We'd spend way too much money. We'd buy bottles of wine. It would cost over $1,000 each. And then after that, we'd find ourselves in some club or some craziness that was going on. And that's how we would roll. And if you've ever seen the movie Hustlers with J-Lo, you'll see some of the things that we would get up to. And I'd wake up the next morning at like 6 a.m. with a bunch of funny money in my pocket. And then at 7 a.m., we were back on the trading floor and doing it all over again. And this was the life I grew up on. And I learned the hard way on how to price these derivatives, how to trade, how to take your stop losses, and how to take your profits as well. And I want to try to share with you some of those lessons I learned today. But I think a lot of it goes back to what we see in Wall Street. And I'm going to play a couple more clips today because I love this movie. The reason I love this movie is because it's so accurate. The people, the way they talk, their phrases, their philosophies, it's all real. And you can see great behavior and great trading and bad behavior and bad trading in that movie. And I want to show you a few clips today. And again, here's another picture of Gordon Gekko embracing the latest technology of his time. Here is him on his high-tech mobile phone device out at his house in the Hamptons, and he's waking up Bud Fox at 6 a.m. in New York City, and he's saying, it's time for you to go to work, Bud. And, you know, Gekko loved technology. He loved the little mini television that he had in the movie, and I know that Gekko right now would be trading crypto. He'd be investing in DeFi. He'd probably already have joined my academy. And I know Gekko would also be ripping their throats out. That's what he did with these markets because he knows how to trade these things. And I want to try to show you some of those trading principles today as well. And look, we already know that Forbes magazine recently said, quote, this will shift the structure of the whole financial system at a macroeconomic level. That's what they're talking about with DeFi. And the truth is this, and this is what I have to say, and you'll probably see this slide coming up on the screen. Decentralized finance, or DeFi, is already revolutionizing the world of finance. You just don't know it yet. Look, this incredible marketplace is growing at breakneck speed. It's going to generate trillions of dollars of opportunities, and it's going to give financial freedom back to the 6 billion people in this world who don't have real access to the financial markets. It's a travesty. It's a violation of human rights, and we're not going to stand for it here at London Real or inside the DeFi Academy, and so we're going to invest in this financial structure of the future. Before we get started, what I want to say is what you're about to see today is education. It is not financial advice. Let's talk about the markets in crypto these days. They are volatile. There are crazy news stories happening. Let me tell you about something that happened here today, and you'll see the headline here on the screen. We saw the Iron Finance Titan token fall to near zero in DeFi panic selling. And wherever you're watching right now, type in yes if you saw this article this week. Also type in, did you have any of these Titan tokens? We saw the Titan token go from 65 bucks down to basically zero. It's like 0.00003 cents. We saw $1.5 billion worth of market cap disappear in a matter of hours. Everyone's licking their wounds. Everyone's saying what happened. The founders said, oh, it was a trading vortex and a positive feedback loop. Okay, cool. But it meant everybody lost all of their money. Now, they were trying to create a stable coin, and I appreciate that. We like stable coins. I teach stable coins inside my academy. But this is another example that this is still untested technology. And if you're not careful with where you invest, if you don't have a trusted advisor, a source of advice, a source of mentorship, then you're going to take a bath in these markets. And this is not a joke. This is real money. It's your financial future, and it's going out the window unless you're making intelligent decisions. But of course, what happened yesterday is nothing compared to Black Thursday. And I'm talking about March 12th of last year in 2020, when we saw this crash that you can see on screen. Ethereum down over 30%, Bitcoin down over 40%. Who are you going to call when those things are dropping? You're going to call your mama? Because there's no one that can help you at this point because you've already made bad trades. A stop loss isn't going to help you in these volatile markets. So again, we have to be intelligent about this. We have to think about our philosophies before we go randomly buy coins out there. And that's what I see all of you newbies doing. I'm going to buy some Doge. I'm going to buy some Titan. I'm going to buy some this. And guess what? You just lost all your money. I've got diamond hands. Well, congratulations. You're also broke with your diamond hands. So we don't play that inside the DeFi Academy. We teach you discipline, trading philosophies that are not based on emotion. And I want to go to this clip right here because this is Gordon Gekko talking to Bud Fox. I think it's at the Penn Club in New York City. I used to play squash there back in the day. And he's explaining to Bud how he trades the markets and how he continually wins. Here's Gekko.
public's out there throwing darts at a board, sport. I don't throw darts at a board. I bet on sure things. Read Sun Tzu, The Art of War. Every battle is won before it's ever fought. Think about it. You're not as smart as I thought you were, buddy boy. You ever wonder why fund managers can't beat the S&P 500? Because they're sheep. And sheep get slaughtered. I've been in this business since '69. Most of these Harvard MBA types, they don't add up to dog shit. Give me guys that are poor, smart, and hungry. And no feelings. You win a few, you lose a few, but you keep on fighting. And if you need a friend, get a dog. It's trench warfare out there, pal. Hey, Georgie.
Hey, Gordon.
How's Larchmont treating you?
Fine.
How's the Praxar deal going? Oh, you should know, pal.
Asshole.
And inside here, too. I got 20 other brokers analyzing charts, pal. I don't need another one. See you around, buddy.
And again, Gecko said it best. Sheep get slaughtered, and that's what we see out there. People throwing their markets, poor trading strategies, which adds to the volatility of this crypto space, which can be a good thing or a bad thing. It's a good thing for us because we have principles and discipline. And here's a quote that I like to say, and you can think about this and meditate this on the day, and that's this. This is trading. It's not Netflix. Don't do it for entertainment or for the rush, which results in emotional decision making. Stay disciplined and put in non-negotiable stop-loss orders to create long-term success. That's what I'm talking about. That's how we make it to the big time, and that's what I go through inside my DeFi Academy. I'm going to talk about this today. So let's get into today. 3 principles of how to trade the markets today. I'm going to talk about these instruments which are crucial to the future. They're being traded right now, but the volume's going to skyrocket. And there's also going to be a lot of tears and a lot of blood on the streets unless you know how to trade this. So first I want to talk about what are derivatives, right? I'm going to go through what you see on the screen here, and I'm going to explain, a derivative is something that derives its value from an underlying asset, right? Very important there. We're going to talk about how the price of the derivative changes as the underlying asset changes. And again, it's very clear to understand that a derivative is not a product, it's a contract. For example, a gold future contract is not gold. It's a contract between 2 people based on the value of gold. And I'll come more back to that shortly. And again, I cut my teeth on Wall Street trading derivatives. I think one of the first trades I made was a derivatives trade, a futures contract on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. And I went on to create some of the most complex and exotic derivatives of the time in the 90s in Wall Street. I understand these at a fundamental level, and most people don't. And I'm telling you, when bad things happen, like we saw yesterday with Titan, everyone's going to be saying, where's my asset? Well, you don't have an asset. You have a contract with someone who doesn't exist. And guess what that's worth? That's worth 0, baby. So we got to really talk about that. On the same point, derivatives aren't evil and they're not bad. They were blamed for the 2008 crash in the housing. That's not true. That was poor risk management. And I want to talk about that today. Derivatives have been around for thousands of years. You just haven't called them derivatives, and we'll get into that today. Next, I want to talk about how to trade crypto options. What you're going to see here right now is a screenshot I grabbed less than an hour ago. All right? These are my notes on this screen. These are real Bitcoin options that are expiring, and you can see on the screen in 1 day and about 22 hours from now. Those are call options and put options. I know to most people, this would complicate things. This would probably fry your brain, and you would say, this is too complicated for me. But I'm going to show you how you can master calls and puts and basic options on Bitcoin and Ethereum. And by the way, these things are trading at the Mercantile Exchange. I can't believe it. This is where I used to trade all of my futures on Eurodollars, etc. So we're going to get into that. I'm going to explain options, premiums, strike prices, expiration dates, and the basic philosophy of a call option and a put option. I'm getting excited. Lastly, I want to talk about synthetic assets in crypto. We've all heard of them, but there's all sorts of synthetic assets in crypto, and I'm going to go into synthetic equities, synthetic commodities, synthetic foreign exchange. There's all sorts of stuff. There's weather derivatives. There's anything you can put into a synthetic. We have to understand the risks of that. There are collateral issues, there's counterparty issues, there's regulation issues, and we're going to go into that as well. So again, it's going to be a great packed show today. Make sure you pay attention. But before we get started, I've gotten so many emails and so many questions on social from people all about the world. They keep saying, Brian, what's going on? I love the videos you're dropping lately, But what's happening inside this DeFi Academy? There's no place in the world that's teaching this stuff, and nobody with your years of experience or broadcasting experience. What's going on with the DeFi Academy? Well, if you go and check out our academy, and you'll probably see this, what it looks like. This is our front page, and the proposition is this. If you join me, I'm going to teach you how to profit from the greatest dislocation of wealth in human history. I'm looking for a small select group of people who want to become part of and actively participate in the upcoming DeFi revolution. I'm looking for serious individuals only who want to help build this exciting financial infrastructure of the future. I'm looking for partners. I'm looking for collaborators, colleagues who want to join forces with me and create real value for the end user and simultaneously generate generational wealth for yourself. They can be done simultaneously. Our first live course is the DeFi Accelerator. It's the keys to unlocking a $9 trillion marketplace, and we're starting that course in days from now. We have a limited number of spaces available. It's an application-only basis. I have to approve your application and admit you to the course. It's 4 modules, 8 hours of live calls with me, and the course is 4 weeks long. The first call is days away, and again, it's personal coaching by me. It's exclusive access to my online e-learning platform. That's videos, workbooks, feedback forms. I've got over 10 of my team that's going to be working with you as team leaders, lead instructors, community managers, and me, all making sure we work with you every single day to get you up the curve. You've got my triple-tiered accountability system I've used for over 6 years. And you've got dedicated coaches, team leaders that are going to work with you every single day, and a private Facebook group where we exchange videos and ideas. It's amazing. I just heard the gong go off in our studio, which means some lucky member of the public out there, one of the 8 billion people of the world, has just joined my DeFi Academy. I'll get their name coming shortly. I appreciate you. Get everything ready. I just dropped module 1. Get in that e-learning platform. Watch the videos. I need to see your videos. I need to see your workbooks before we can go to the next level. This is a high touch point experience. And like I said, we're running out of time. I think we literally have 2 days left before the first call starts. We have been inundated with applications around the world. Thousands of people want to get in on this. I've never seen anything like this before. And I've been doing this for 10 years. I've never seen so much interest for a product like ours inside the DeFi Academy. And we are so excited for a small group of people that are going to join us. If you receive this in your email, and I'm going to give you a screenshot, that means your life is about to change, because what you're looking about is you being accepted in the DeFi Academy. It says your application to be part of the DeFi Academy has been accepted. It says enroll today to be part of this elite team. So someone just did it. We hit the gong when someone joins our elite team, and I couldn't be more excited. If you're one of these people that wants to change the future, that wants my mentorship, that wants a trusted source of information, that wants to give financial freedom back to the 6 billion people in the world and give them their human rights back, and at the same time create real value and generational wealth, well, click the link or go to londonreal.tv/DeFi, DEFI. Submit your application. Sell me on why you should be on this course. What do you bring to the table? Education. Do you bring enthusiasm? That might do it. Do you bring connections? What do you bring? But apply and send it to me. I will make those decisions right after I'm on this call, and I'll accept you if you're worthy. One thing I want to be clear up right now. This academy is not for everyone, and I want to tell you who it's not for, and you'll see this on screen. The DeFi Academy is not for crypto day traders. Please go somewhere else. 95% of you will lose money. Please lose your money somewhere else. I don't like the energy. Second of all, this is not for people looking to get rich quick. Please go somewhere else. It's the crypto space. There's tons of places to go get rich, but go somewhere else. I'm too old to be around that energy or to have those kind of ideas. Third, this is not for meme coin fans and forum trolls. Please go somewhere else if that's all you want to do is talk about coins and make fun of coins all day. I'm looking for serious players only. This is not also for blockchain fanboys and crypto academics. I know you love pondering the beauty of Ethereum 2.0. Go somewhere else. I'm looking for people that pull the trigger, that put trades on, that get into the arena. Yep, we're going to take some losses, but we're going to have some big wins as well. And that's who I'm looking for in my academy. So I couldn't be more excited. To be very clear, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is for people that want to invest in the long-term infrastructure of DeFi. I'm going all in on this space for the next 10 years, and I'm looking for people to partner with me for that entire time. And I couldn't be more excited. We're closing this course out literally in days. If you want to join, go to londonreal.tv/DeFi, DEFI. You will not have this option available very soon. So make it happen now and sell me as well. All right, let's get into this episode. I couldn't be more excited to talk about derivatives. Before we go, I want questions from you. whatever platform you're on, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or Zoom. If you're on Zoom, first of all, tell me, how do you rank yourself as a trader from 1 to 10? 10 being gecko, 1 being a newbie. And what is your single biggest challenge as a trader? 2, do you struggle with poor discipline and do you get emotional about trading? If so, how? And be honest. I'll share with you the story of when I lost $50,000 when I was 22 years old in about 40 seconds. I'll share with you my big first screw up today. 3rd, have you ever traded crypto or DeFi options and how did it work out for you? What did you experience? What did you learn? I want to know that. And 4th, what questions do you have about DeFi? And would you like to learn from me how to profit from the greatest dislocation of wealth in human history? So put those questions in right now. Let me get into part 1 of this broadcast. And that's the simple question: what are derivatives? Everybody wants to know this. Well, you'll see this on screen right now. And let me explain. A derivative is a financial instrument whose value is derived, you see the root word, from the value of another asset, which is known as the underlying. When the price of the underlying changes, the value of the derivative also changes. To be clear, the derivative is not a product. It's a contract between two parties that derives its value from the changes of price in the underlying. For example, the value of a gold futures contract is derived from the value of the underlying asset gold, but it's not gold itself. All right? That's a very good explanation of what a derivative is. Now, let me just continue on from that gold futures issue. You know, I'm good friends with Max Kaiser. I'm good friends with Tika Tawari. I'm good friends with Peter Schiff, a lot of guys that have been talking about owning gold for the last 10 years. And when I really talk to them off camera, and this is the kind of thing I'm going to talk about inside the DeFi Market Wizards and inside my Kings of DeFi inner circle. When they're off camera, they say, Brian, I don't hold gold futures. I hold the physical gold itself in a safe, or at least in a safe where I know the gold is at. That's because I want to hold the asset. I don't trust an exchange. I don't trust a counterparty. That way I actually own the asset. When I speak to my good friend Robert Kiyosaki, he says, Brian, I don't own real estate futures. I own the real estate itself. I've got the deed in my safe. I know where the house is. It's there. It's mine. This is the underlying asset. Now, a derivative is something that's based on that underlying asset. Examples of derivatives are this: futures contracts, traded on the Mercantile Exchange and the Chicago Board of Trade. Options contracts, swaps, insurance, ETFs, exchange-traded forwards, and the list goes on and on and on and on. Now, let me tell you something about derivatives, because I got a lot of flack about derivatives in the 90s and the 2000s because I worked in derivatives. I started trading fixed income derivatives. Then I worked onto treasury derivatives. When I was in London, I did credit derivatives. That's what I did here for most of my career, 11 years. We made a boatload of money. I even did indexes on credit derivatives, which is a derivative of a derivative. We can get into that too. There is nothing wrong with derivatives. They get thrown down they get sold down the river when financial crashes happen. Financial crashes don't happen because of derivatives. Forwards and futures contracts have existed for hundreds of years, if not thousands. What happens is when people risk manage poorly, that's when things go wrong. And it's going to continue to happen over and over again. And so again, don't be scared of the derivative itself. Understand the derivative, understand your risk profile, and you're always going to work from there. And let me give you a few examples of derivatives you might not even think about. A dinner reservation is a derivative. So back when I was in the city in London, I used to take my clients out to the best restaurants in London. One of the favorites they wanted to go to was they always wanted to go to Nobu. Okay, Nobu was the famous Japanese place. The Nobu Barclay was the happening one where all the guys wanted to go. So they, Brian, I want to go to Nobu on Saturday. Can you get me there? I'd be like, I don't even think I can get a reservation for that. You kidding me? There's like a book for a month. And they'd be like, all right, fine, I'll go with someone else. I'll do my business somewhere else. So I would always make sure I had reservations at these restaurants. Now, a reservation is a call option to go to a nice place for dinner, which means if I have that reservation, if I choose to exercise it and show up, I've got a beautiful dinner at a happening spot. Sure, I pay for dinner, but I can actually get in. Now, if we decide to go somewhere else, my call option on the dinner just expires, worthless, because I never actually showed up for dinner. Now, you might say, but Brian, reservations are free. You know, a lot of these restaurants in London started getting aware that there was a value in just having the reservation, and they started charging. So I'd have to pay £100, £500 just to get the reservation because they knew I might walk away and it had a real value to it. So again, Derivatives are all around us. We just don't see them as derivatives sometimes. So again, a dinner reservation is a call option to go there and exercise the right to pay for a meal. And again, they have real value, but we never think of it this way. Here's another derivative you might not have thought of. Now, I don't know if you have kids. I have young kids. They're going to be old soon. And there's always a derivative instrument between parents and children that's not spoken of. And here's what it is. When my children get to be 30 years old and say they go out and things go all wrong in their life and they're broke and they're going to go move out on the streets, they can always call up mom and dad and say, can I move home? All right. This is what I call being short a put option. All right. So the kids all have the put option and they know if push comes to shove, they can always go home and live with mom. Now, I personally don't want my kids to come back and move with me. It's a horrible thing. It's going to take up space. It's going to probably mess their lives up even more. But the truth is, I'm short a put option to my kids because they know at any time they can call me up and exercise that option to move back in. And guess what happens? They only exercise it when things have gone wrong. So these are just examples off the top of my head. There's optionality in all of our lives. We are constantly buying and selling options, but we don't always price them. We don't always charge for them, but they are very real. And it's important to understand that derivatives are all around us, and in themselves, they're not bad. We just need to understand the risk and manage the risk. Now, something we saw happen recently here in the UK was in February of this year, 2021, the FCA bans Bitcoin derivatives. You'll see this headline here, and the FCA is our financial conduct authority. They're kind of the equivalent of the SEC, kind of, here. And they decided to ban Bitcoin derivatives. And it said that they were too risky, so the public should not even be out there trading them, all right? And again, this is another hypocrisy in my opinion, because they don't believe that you as a person are able to manage your own money or manage your own risk. And when they see options or derivatives, they think, oh my gosh, these are risky, people can lose all their money, et cetera, et cetera. The truth is if you behave irresponsibly, you can lose all your money doing anything. You know, you can go out there right now and spend all your money on something stupid or give it all away to someone on the streets. But that's not being regulated against. And yet the FCA decided it should ban Bitcoin derivatives. I think this is ridiculous. I think it's an insult. And I think it carries on to the way we've been brainwashed since children or child age that we can't manage our own money. And as a corollary to this, I thought I would entertain this concept for you. So the FCA just banned derivatives on Bitcoin because it's risky and it's gambling. And yet tonight, the last time I checked, England will play Scotland. And I can go right now and bet on the number of corner kicks in the England-Scotland game. And you can see I pulled this up on Betfair. And you can see right now that there's a probability of over 10.5 corner kicks. Someone's willing to pay 3.35 times for that, or to give you that risk for 3.9. And look, there's almost £1,000 available there on the bid side of that market. So clearly the FCA and the government of England thinks it's okay for you to bet on the number of corner kicks in a football game tonight. And you can bet tons of risk. And by the way, the more kicks or the less kicks there are, you actually get multiple variations of that loss. So you don't just lose 100, you might lose 500 or 1,000. Very risky stuff. And yet they ban Bitcoin derivatives. And this is one of the many things that angers me about regulation in crypto. I think it's unacceptable. I think we need to fight back from it. And it just goes to show you they're being very duplicitous, and there's a lot of hypocrisy in the system because they'll allow you to bet on this, but they won't allow you to invest your money here. What I'm calling for is more education across the board. And inside my DeFi Academy, we're going to have our students put on options trades. Of course, it's got to be legal in the country they're in. And we're going to have them experience what it's like to go through that risk management so they can understand these tools. They're all tools that we need to use. And the better you understand them, the better you're going to do. So I hope that helps as a start off here. Leave me your answers right now for the questions. I'm going to go to you right now. Of course, we're giving a lot of love to our Zoom audience here. So if you're in our Zoom room, just give us a wave out here. This is for our in-studio audience. If you want to be invited to our in-studio office in the Zoom room, just go to our mailing list on londonreal.tv and answer these questions for me. How do you rank yourself as a trader from 1 to 10, 10 being the best, and what is your single biggest challenge? 2, do you struggle with poor discipline and get emotional about trading, and how? And I will tell my story. 3rd, have you ever traded crypto or DeFi options, and how was it? And 4th, what questions do you have about DeFi And would you like to learn from me how to profit from the greatest dislocation of wealth in human history? Some great questions coming in here. We really appreciate all of them. I've got McGeever on Instagram that says, let's go, Brian. You're the man. I appreciate you so much. We've got Millen Marino on Instagram saying, bravo, Brian. I appreciate it. We got Bill Johnson that asks on Zoom, is it too late to apply for the DeFi Academy? If you're watching me live now, it's not too late. If you're watching this later, yeah, it's probably closed by now. So if you're here with me live, go to londonreal.tv/DeFi, DEFI, put your application in. I will read it personally. And if you've got what it takes, if you've got the right stuff, in my opinion, I'll bring you to be a part of my elite team, and we're going to go to the future together. So super excited. And by the way, that was June T that just joined our academy. We hit the gong here. If you become a member of our academy, you might hear the gong ringing. It rings all day here and all night when we bring in incredible people. And so that's what you're going to hear in the background. We've got Kiki Arello on Instagram that says, is this really live? So I guess I just answered your question, Kiki. Great to have you here. We've got Roop Singh on Facebook that says, very nice. We got Kel on Instagram that says, what's the difference between DeFi and cryptocurrency? So great question. And this is something I cover in Module 1 inside the DeFi Academy. By the way, all of my students inside the Academy, if you're watching, Module 1 is live. So please go watch the videos right now on our e-learning platform. There's a workbook to fill out, and I need your deliverables and your videos posted in the group before our live call on Monday. And I go into what's the difference between cryptocurrency and DeFi. You know, DeFi is the entire financial ecosystem. Cryptocurrency is a way of storing value and a way of transferring money. And so the great way to look at it is this. And my good friend Andreas Antonopoulos made this explanation. He said, Brian, you know, back in the 90s, we had email. And we thought email was the internet because back in like 95, that's all you could do on the internet. So we thought, okay, this is kind of neat. I can send an electronic message. The internet is cool. Now, in the mid-90s, we got an internet browser. And as soon as we got that, we realized the internet was more things than just email. It had all of these other possibilities. The same is true between crypto and DeFi. When we saw Bitcoin, we said, wow, this is cool. I can send money here and there. It's peer-to-peer. It's anonymous. It's trustless. That's amazing. We thought that was what all there was. And then we realized, wait a second, when Ethereum came along, there's smart contracts. There's an entire ecosystem full of lending, trading, borrowing, insurance, all of these things. And so DeFi is the entire financial ecosystem. A crypto is just a store of value or a way to transfer value, and the DeFi is so much bigger, and it's happening. The system is building out, and it's going to model everything in centralized finance, where I worked for 15 years, and that's why I understand this so well, because I see this happening in DeFi. A few more questions coming in here. I've got Kathy on Zoom says, I'm in Canada. Do I need to be in London to join the DeFi course? Great question. You don't. We've got people, I think, in 24 different countries right now inside the DeFi Academy. I think it's across 12 or 14 time zones right now. I've got people in New Zealand. I've got people in Singapore. I got people in California. I got people in Brazil. So we do this all on a digital way. For the past 6 years, I've been teaching people remote. We've got the best academy in the business. We've got the best digital learning system in the business. It's live. I teach live. I personally mentor you to get you through the distance, and it's 4 weeks, and it's intense. And you're going to be challenged to get out of your comfort zone, and you're going to learn at a rapid rate. So that's what happens in there. Submit your application. I look forward to reading it. We got Marco Roldan Echevra on Facebook that says fiat money is trash. And what Marco's talking about is fiat money. This is money that is just backed by the full faith and trust of a government like the US dollar, the euro, the pound, the yen. Back in the day, the dollar was actually backed by gold. So before 1971, before Nixon took us off the gold standard, every dollar could be cashed in for actual gold. These days, it's not. So they can print as much as they want. And a lot of people are very suspicious of fiat currencies, as you should be. I personally do not think we're going to see a fiat currency crash in the next 5 to 10 years, but I do think that the DeFi space is going to change the whole face of finance and give financial freedom back to the people regardless. That being said, you should know that the dollars you hold are not really backed by anything. They are, in a weird sense, a derivative of someone giving you their word that's backed by the full faith and credit and military of the US government. But don't assume for a second that there is any asset behind that. And it's important to understand that, and it'll help you understand crypto as well. So a great question. I appreciate that. I got D577 on Instagram says, night suit, Brian. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. We try to represent here. And I got Robert Mackerhammer on Instagram that says, I love what you're doing, man. Thank you very much. And I appreciate you. Thank you so much, too. All right. Keep those questions coming. I want to get into part 2. And this is how to trade crypto options. Now, on the screen here, you're going to see a screenshot I literally took an hour ago. And let's read through it. On the top, it says BTC options expiring 20th of June, 2021. These are Bitcoin options. And if you look kind of midway to the right, it says they expire in 1 day, 22 hours, and 37 minutes. Now, we'll keep this thing up on the screen. You'll see some circles and some blue marks. So where the blue is, you'll see 38,000. That's the strike price of the option. And that's roughly where Bitcoin is trading right now at 38,000. And you can see the green circles, the prices of the call options on the left, the prices of the put options on the right. And this is a great diagram to try to understand the pricing of options. I'm going to come back to this in just a second. And so again, what is an option? Well, an option is this. It gives you the right or the choice to buy or sell a certain instrument at a certain price at a certain point in time. Let me say that again. A call option or a put option is your right. Again, it's your choice to exercise it. It's your option to exercise it, to buy or sell an instrument at a specific price at a specific time. Now, when you bring in this optionality into it, the choice, the point that you can have a choice to exercise this option or not, the pricing of these things get very complicated, they get very volatile, and it gets very interesting. And this is the basis of what an option is. And shortly, I'm going to go into what a call option is and what a put option is. But let me say a couple things before we get started. First of all, what you pay for that option up front is called a premium. It's what you pay to have that right to exercise that option. So back to my concept of a reservation at Nobu, if I paid £100 to have the option of going there for dinner, that would be the premium. And again, you're going to lose the premium either way when the expiration date stops. And that's the next thing to talk about. How long is your option? The option I showed you earlier is only 1 day and 22 hours long. It's not long. But if the price of Bitcoin moves a lot, it could be worth a lot of money. I've seen 1 day options. I've seen 1 week's options. I've seen 1 month options, 3 month. I think I've even priced an option out to 10 or 20 years, which you won't see traded on any exchange in the world. This is an important thing to know because usually the longer your option is, the higher the price of the option. And I'll explain why that makes sense. The last thing is the strike price of your option. Where can you buy it and where can you sell it? And I'm going to go back to the diagram when we talk about that later. First, let me talk about the difference between a call option and a put option. And again, if this is confusing for you, please type yes in the chat right now. It's okay. I remember the first time I understood what a call option and a put option. I remember being there. I was on Massachusetts Avenue. I was right off what we call Lobby 7 at MIT. It was about 1 in the morning, and I was studying with a good buddy of mine. We'll call him Andy. And we were studying for our exams the next day. That's all I did at MIT. I just studied and studied and studied. And I drank some beer on the weekends, and then I studied and studied and studied. And we were on the blackboards, and we were trying to figure out these things called call options and put options. And I'll stick the diagrams on the screen shortly. And we were like, I don't understand. Like a stock, when you buy it, you make money when it goes up. And when you sell it, you make money when it goes down. But what does an option mean? And then I remember we were trying to get it in our heads for like days. I even think weeks. And then one night it clicked, and we said, oh, I see. With a call option, if the price of the asset goes up, I'm a big winner. And if it goes down, I don't lose very much. And with a put option, if it goes down, I'm a big winner. And if it doesn't, I don't lose very much. And it clicked. And that was a big moment for me. And I started to really understand these derivatives kind of in my DNA. And it allowed me to trade them and price them and make a lot of money from them. And so again, if it takes you time to understand these, that's okay. And that's why inside the academy, we have weeks to work with our students to get them to understand these structures. So don't beat yourself up. There's nothing simple about this, but it's also a very simple concept because these have been around for thousands of years. So let me show you a diagram of a call option, and I'm going to try to walk you through this. So this is a call option. It says being long a call, which means you own a call. This is Wall Street jargon. If you own something, you're long it. If you have sold something, you're short it. We can get into all that later. So this is a call option. Now, you can see the stock price at expiration. That really means Bitcoin price at expiration. And you see 40 there, and that's the price of Bitcoin at expiration, 40,000. So you can see we've paid $200 for that option. Can everyone see we're minus 200? So we paid 200. Now, if Bitcoin goes down to 30,000 on that graph, we're still only down $200. So Bitcoin can go to zero, we've only lost $200. But if Bitcoin goes up near 40, near 43, we're breaking even. Up to 50, we're making money. If Bitcoin goes to 1 million, we've just made a lot of money, if you can see that graph. So just coming back to me on screen, that is the payout diagram of a call option. Now, I want to go back to that pricing piece that I grabbed off the screen. because if you look at this pricing piece, we can see something similar. Now, again, I want you to look at the green circle on the bottom left. Now, I've circled that to be the price of a Bitcoin call option at 40,000, and you can see that under the red line just to the right. And if you look at the price of that, the last time that traded was about $188. So this is about the exact same diagram I just showed you. So if you went right now and bought a 2-day call option, you'd spend $188. The strike price is 40,000 Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin goes above 40,000 in the next one day and 22 hours, you make money. And if it goes way up to 100,000, you make a ton of money, and you've only spent $200 on this option. Let me say one more thing. If it goes down to zero, you only lose your initial investment of $188. So again, let's go back to me here on screen. And again, if this is too complicated for you, you can watch this back later. Or of course, I'll be going this in detail in Module 3 inside the DeFi Academy. And of course, this can take time anyways. Let me now talk about a put option, and I'll put this thing on screen. A put option is what you're seeing on screen. And again, this is a little complicated at first, but you'll get used to it. So here you see something opposite. You're like, what's going on here, Brian? If Bitcoin goes to 50,000 here, I don't make any money. I just lose my initial investment of $200. That's weird. But if Bitcoin goes down to 30,000 or 20,000 or goes to zero, look at the profit thing. That arrow's going to Pluto. I'm making a ton of money if Bitcoin goes down and goes down to zero. And that is the put option. I make money when the asset price goes down. A call option means I make money when the asset price goes up. And you can jump back to me here. It's good that you have an initial experience with this. And again, remember, with the options, the most I'm going to lose is my initial investment. And that's what frustrates me about the FCA. They've banned options because they're too risky. But if you know all you're going to lose is your initial investment, well, then you should be educated enough to know, okay, now that doesn't mean it's not a volatile instrument. It's going to go up and down, but that is the most you're going to lose if you buy an option. And so again, let's go back to the price on the screen and we can look at the put options on that same instrument. So again, we'll go back to that screen, and here on the right-hand side, you'll see I circled in green. This was done with my own finger today. And here's a put option struck at 36,000. That's the red line. So again, this is $2,000 below the price of current Bitcoin spot, which is 38,000. And you can see that's trading for about $300, $301. Now we can go into this further, why that costs more than the call option. But for this thing, if you bought it, you'd spend $300. If the price of Bitcoin went below 36,000, you would be in the money. If it went way below, you would make a lot more money. And if it went above that, the option would expire worthless and you would lose your premium. And so that is my crash course in options for you. Again, I hope that helped. If you're new to this, it still might be swirling around your brain. And I just want to tell you, 21-year-old Brian, I was supposed to be one of the smartest guys, right, in the country, and I was at MIT studying engineering, and it took me weeks to understand this, all right? So again, the more you review it, the more you do it, and inside the academy, we're going to try to trade these things. That's when you really understand it, is when you actually put the position on. These are an important part of any financial infrastructure. They're an important part of anyone's portfolio, as opposed to running away from it and sticking your head in the sand and banning these instruments, which is ridiculous. You should master them and understand how to use those instruments. And that's what we're going to talk about here. And so again, I just want to say, a lot of people get emotional when they're trading options that prices move. They get emotional when it trades to Bitcoin. They get emotional about all these instruments. That's why I believe some places like the FCA has banned these instruments. One thing I will say is you never want to get emotional about trading. It clouds your judgment. You always must stay disciplined. And I just want to show you that we all make that mistake sometimes. And I am a very disciplined person, but I've had times back in my trading days where I made an emotional decision. And I'll share that story with you in the next section. And just to remind you that it even happens to the great traders, here is a short clip from the movie Wall Street of Gordon the Gecko the Great, also getting emotional about stock when he's watching Blue Star Airlines get out of his buying zone, and he's getting angry at Bud Fox. So here's Gordon in Wall Street.
Marty, I need a favor. It's a quick scalp for you. 200,000 shares Blue Star at 19.5. Can you position it in one of your equity funds?
The Chronicles on 7.
Hold, Marty. Listen, Blue Horseshoe loves Blue Star Airlines. Got it?
Got it.
Right. Marty, you still there?
Yeah.
Blue Star's in play. Let's check it out.
How is it, guys? 19 and a quarter, 3.8. Right down. 10,000. So you 10,000, 3.8.
22 and love it so.
Yeah, Gordon, I see it at 21 and 5/8, man. I don't know what to make of it.
The word is out, pal. Your union buddies are talking. You get me in at a 45-degree angle. I mean all the way in. You slash and burn, you buy everything inside up till 22. Then call me. When I get hold of the son of a bitch who leaked this, I'm gonna tear his eyeballs out. I'm gonna suck his fucking skull.
Stock's going to Pluto, man.
Start unloading.
What? Sell?
Dump it now. Dump it all. Where's Lou?
Right over there.
And so here you see Gordon Gekko getting emotional about stock. He's trying to buy Blue Star Airlines. He's trying to amass a position so he can take over the company. But Bud Fox has let the word out, and everyone else is buying ahead of Gordon, so he can't get his position on. And so he's getting angry, and he's getting emotional because he can't buy the instrument at the price that he wants, all right? You should never get emotional about anything you're trading. Gordon should realize there's another day. Let this one go. But instead, he keeps buying as it goes up, and later when the price tanks, he can't sell, which is an issue in liquidity, which we talk deeply about inside the DeFi Academy, and something that's very important in crypto because there's a lack of liquidity many, many times. So again, it can happen to the best of us. If it's happened to you, please tell me right now because I want to hear from you. Tell me, how do you rank yourself as a trader from 1 to 10? 10 being Gekko on a good day. And what is your single biggest challenge? Second, do you struggle with poor discipline? And do you get emotional about trading and how? Third, have you ever traded crypto or DeFi options and how was it? And fourth, tell me what questions you have about DeFi. And would you like to learn from me how to profit from what I'm calling the greatest dislocation of wealth in human history? I want to give a shout out to our folks on Zoom. So give me a wave here. We'll give you a look into those people in our studio audience. We really appreciate you being there. Leave me a question no matter where you're watching on the platforms now. I'm just going to go to my questions right now, and I really appreciate that. Tons of great questions. I got Nikki Shepard, I can see you here on Zoom, who said, I've never traded, and in my head cannot actually find a way in, and I need much guidance. You know, Nikki, I don't blame you. Trading can be one of the most scariest things in the world. And even though I had been watching the movie Wall Street, even though I had been taking classes in options and futures at the Sloan School of Management at MIT before I went to Wall Street, I had never really bought anything. I hadn't actually bought a stock. I was getting the Wall Street Journal delivered every day to my fraternity house, but I hadn't actually bought anything because, again, I felt intimidated like you did. And it wasn't until they sat me down on a trading floor full of 300 very alpha people yelling and screaming and like threatening physical abuse at each other, and they shoved a phone in my hand and said trade, that I didn't actually trade because it can be very intimidating. And that's why it's important to be around a group of people who, first of all, push you out of your comfort zone, also are a trusted source of advice, and they can mentor you. And then part of my job inside the DeFi Academy, and we'll start this next week with the class, is getting people to pull the trigger on their first trades. It doesn't matter if it's a big trade. I just want you to get involved, feel what it's like, because you're not going to understand an instrument until you feel the pain of a loss and you feel the euphoria of a gain. That's something that you can't teach. You can't teach. And there's all these people that they trade on a spreadsheet. Have you ever met those people? You know, they do these fake trades and they have fake P&Ls of things they would have bought. Please, go tell it to somebody else. Until you put skin in the game, until you actually have something on the line, then there's no emotions to manage. So you're not a real trader unless you actually put on positions. And that's exactly what we're going to do inside the Academy. And Nikki, I would say do this sooner or later. The truth is, Nikki, you already have positions. You just don't know it. Your money is being managed by a pension fund, or your future payments are being managed by a government. There's all sorts of risk in your life. You're just not managing it. Someone else is, and you take the hits because of it. So why not take control of your finances? Unfortunately, we've been brainwashed to be taught two things. First of all, we've been taught to work for money, not make money work for us, as my friend Robert Kiyosaki said in Rich Dad Poor Dad, one of the mentalities we cover in the very first module inside the Academy. And two is you've been taught that you're not smart enough to manage your own money. Imagine being educated to think that you're ignorant about your own finances. You spend most of your day working for the money, but they say you're not smart enough to handle it. Just like they used to say you're not smart enough to understand your health, your nutrition, your freedom. We don't believe in that. We believe you should have the financial freedom. So Nikki, I would say learn sooner than later, because this is happening. Whether you want to come along or not, these changes are happening. I got Matt Porter on YouTube that says, I consider myself to be a financial legacy builder. My focus is on trend and position trading and accumulation of long-term passive income generating assets. DeFi absolutely excites me. Go, Brian. Good stuff, Matt. I appreciate that. But Matt, I am going to say one thing that I disagree with you on. I don't like this term passive income. And I remember I was at Dan Peña's Castle Seminar up in Scotland. And one of the guys was raising his hand and he kept saying, what about passive income? What about passive income? And Dan Peña ignored him for a while. And finally, he stood up out of his chair and he says, I don't like passive income. And the guy said, why? He said, because it makes you passive, is what he said. And then like a blood vessel burst out of his head. The guy like shrunk down to a tiny little part. And there was no one asking questions anymore. And I don't like the concept of passive income because I don't like passivity. I don't like being around passive people. And I don't think real generational wealth is created being passive. So I don't believe in that. I believe in making infrastructure investments for the future. I believe in putting skin in the game. I believe in taking risk, but intelligent risk. I don't believe in passive income. I don't think it actually exists. I think it's a figment of people's imagination. I think it's sold to you as a concept. But the real money I've ever made, the people that have sat in the leather chair at London Real, they haven't made it being passive. They've made it being active, including people like Robert Kiyosaki. So again, I agree with what you say, Matt, about the infrastructure, but I'm not a fan of passive income, and you won't hear that phrase used inside my DeFi Academy. All right, I got Chandarip on Instagram, says, very grateful for your knowledge bombs. Thank you so much. I got JD767 on Instagram, says, simply, killing it, brother. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. We're enjoying it here. We're flowing. That's what we're doing. I got Francisino on YouTube, says, oh my God, I love this, Brian. Let's go. Zero emotions when it comes to trading. Again, discipline is key. This video is so me. I'm getting goosebumps. Thanks, Francis. Again, it's a very difficult thing to do is trade. I used to take positions home at night in the 90s when I was trading. I used to take big positions home at night. I couldn't sleep at night. I used to be a subject to my P&L. Meant if I was up $1 million on the day, I would be in a good mood. If I was down $1 million a day, I'd be in a bad mood. It was very, very difficult to manage my emotions when you're trading a big book of risk like that every single day. It's difficult. It took years and years of training to understand, but this is what we're going to be doing inside the DeFi Academy because that's what makes long-term traders survive, is that discipline. And again, you know, an article came out yesterday that says 2 million people in Britain are trading crypto. I think it's over 2 million people have crypto positions. That's a lot of people, okay? That's like a lot of people. That's 1 in 30 people here. 3-4% of people are trading crypto. And for me, it just made me think most of those people have no idea what they're doing. Most of those people are going to lose money. 90% of crypto day traders lose money. And it made me think, okay, the bad thing about that is these people need discipline and they're not going to be able to find it anywhere. And the problem with crypto is there's not a single trusted source of information. Who are you going to call when Bitcoin drops 20%? Who are you going to call when Elon Musk puts out a tweet? You don't have a source of trusted information, and that's why we built the DeFi Academy. We've got an incredible group of people in here, honestly, that we're going to be working with for the next few years, making the right decisions. And these are the people you can ask when something's going crazy. You know, when the Titan coins are going in the tubes, these are the people you can talk to. And I don't see any other trusted source of information out there, and I couldn't be more excited. So great question. I appreciate that. On the, let me see, on the 1 to 10 scale of trading from a newbie to get-go, we got Ann Prasad says on Zoom, I am a 1, a beginner. I would really like to learn how to trade. There's no one out there who really wants to teach properly. And it's a good point, Ann. There's no one teaching this, especially in the DeFi space, because it's so new, and no one has actually been there and done that. I have been talking about the cryptocurrency markets on London Real for 8 years. I bought my first Bitcoin back in 2013 for 85 pounds each. I bought a couple. I started trading in 1993. I understand these markets, and I'm here to try to give you the best information possible. I will also be sitting down with some of the top CEOs in DeFi over the course of the next 3 months. We have incredible names booked. CEOs of the top trading platforms, of the top infrastructure, of some of the top cryptos. And I'll be giving you the inside. And then behind the scenes, I'll be telling the DeFi Academy what they said to me off camera. But I encourage all of you to tune in for that, and we want to just educate the world. A couple others. I got Guang Di, who's already a part of the DeFi Academy. What's up, Guang? I saw your intro video yesterday in the Facebook group. I appreciate you. I can't wait to see you on our first live call on Monday. And he asks, or Guyong says, I'll rank myself 3 as a trader. I've never traded DeFi options yet. And again, this is perfect because inside our academy, we have people that have been trading crypto for 7-8 years like me. We've got people that have never traded it before. We've got people that specialize in options. We have a couple DeFi startup entrepreneurs in there that already have their own blockchains. We got a whole range of people. We have 22-year-olds up to, I think there's a 70-year-old in our academy. So we've got people from all over the spectrum. We're all going to learn from each other, and I appreciate you as well. And so we're going to educate you, and we're going to give the options. And of course, the gong just rang. That's another person that's just joined our DeFi Academy. I couldn't be more excited. That gong will stop ringing in 2 more days. So if you want to be in on this, give me your application, and I'll shout out whoever just joined us in just a second when they put that on. All right, before I get to the next story, I want to tell you my first horrible trading loss story. All right, I'm 22 years old. It's 1993. I'm on the US dollar swap desk, and I got these 2 guys next to me. One of them's name was Eric, one of them's name was Steve. And I was pricing up options on a spreadsheet when all the sales forces are there. Everyone's yelling. I'm trying to trade options on the mercantile exchange. I'm trying to hedge with treasuries. This guy, Eric, would always slam the phone into my hand when I'd screw up, and they would yell at me the whole time. I mean, it was a long day is what I got to say. And so I came in one morning, the morning before the biggest number of the month. And a lot of you might know this, is that at 8:30 a.m. New York time, the U.S. government releases numbers. These are figures that allow you to monitor the state of the U.S. economy. And the biggest number everybody knows in fixed income is U.S. non-farm payrolls. And what this means is this: how many new jobs were added to the economy, not taking in part for farms, which is seasonal. And that gives you an idea of how fast the economy is growing. If it's growing really fast, then we expect, maybe there's going to be inflation and interest rates are going to go up. If it's growing really slow, then the Fed's going to drop rates, and we're probably going to see interest rates go down. So that's how the bonds trade on the back of it. So here comes, Mr. Big Pants, Brian comes in, and I say, guys, I think the market's going to rally today. I know it's going to be really big. Let's put on some bond futures. I want to buy 100 bond futures. And they look at me and they're like, okay, Mr. Big Pants, do it. And I went to the bar to trade. I could hear him yelling in the back. I said, buy me 100 bond futures. Okay, I got bottom. And then 2 minutes before the number comes, and I watched the bond future on the screen. It was a Bloomberg screen, and it was like tick, 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 tick. The number came out. It was a horrible number, the worst possible number we could have, and the bond future went like this, where it drops in price. There's not even any trades, and this is the most liquid instrument in the world, the U.S. bond future. That's probably the most liquid instrument, and it's dropping like a knife, right? It's down like a point, half a point, point and a half, which is a lot in terms of fixed income. It's like, down a lot. And the guys look at me and they're like, you're an idiot. And they're like, you're not allowed to trade for the next month. And the guy hit the board of trade and he called the guy up. He said, close out Brian's position. Bam. And I lost $50,000 in about 40 seconds. And I went home that night and I was just in a horrible, horrible state. And everyone laughed at me on the trading desk. I think I had to buy lunch for everybody on top of that. And this is what happened. All right. And so I just want to say it happens to the best of us. What I didn't do is I didn't put my stop loss in, so they had to put it in for me. So I never did that again, and we teach that inside the academy. Also, I stopped trading on hunches and emotions. I think this is going to happen. I started making strategic trades that had a real purpose and mission to them. And I just started learning and listening more than opening my mouth and putting on trades for no reason. So again, I just want to say I've been there and done that. And I went on to make much, much worse trades and much better trades than that. But the reason I learned is because I put on that first trade. So that's a little story from you. Let's get into section 3. And this is synthetics. And this is what everyone wants to talk about. And this is synthetic assets in crypto. Now, this is the hottest thing right now in crypto. A lot of people are talking about it. If I'm honest, I think it's a little early to be talking about synthetic instruments since there's still not a ton of liquidity in a lot of your basic crypto and DeFi protocols. So again, sure, we see liquidity in Ethereum, and we see liquidity in Bitcoin and Cardano and a few other coins, but we don't see that much liquidity. We don't even see that much liquidity in the put and call options, even the exchange traded ones. So to start talking about synthetics now, I think you just have to be a little careful before you start jumping into instruments that are first of all new and first of all very liquid. But let's talk about them. First of all, what is a synthetic instrument? A synthetic instrument is this. It's an instrument that you create in a derivative or synthetic way that acts and behaves like another asset that's already out in the marketplace that we understand. Let me give you some examples of that. So for example, on the blockchain, you could create the equivalent of a stock price. And actually, I just went to synthetics this morning, and they used to trade or have markets in the price of a share of Tesla stock. But it's not actually a share of Tesla stock that you own, that you have voting rights in the company, where you can go see Elon Musk at the annual meeting. It's actually a synthetic instrument on the blockchain that mirrors the price of the Tesla stock price. All right, sounds cool? Sounds like science fiction? It sounds cool, but it's got a lot of other problems, and I'll talk about that shortly. Also, in DeFi and on the blockchain, there are synthetic commodities. You can go and trade the price of oil, but you can do it on the blockchain as a synthetic instrument. And it's supposed to match the price of oil in the world, and yet you don't have to worry about having a tanker or going to an exchange or getting approved as a customer inside of a brokerage account. You can, Joe, just do it on the blockchain like that, okay? In theory. But it gets better. You can have synthetics on foreign exchange. You can have synthetics on the weather. You could have synthetics on anything out there, including the number of corner kicks from England versus Scotland. And this is this concept of a synthetic instrument. And it's the ultimate form of a derivative, where you try to take an instrument that we know exists out there and you try to stick it on the blockchain and remove all of the problems and benefits that happen from actually owning it in the real world. You might have a synthetic on a piece of real estate. You might have a synthetic on maybe a business that's located in a city. All of these things could be the future of synthetics. And again, there are companies out there that are specializing in this. And again, I am not recommending, but a lot of us have heard of this company Synthetics. It's been around. And again, let's look at their mission, because they're trying to solve this problem. And Synthetics is a protocol that enables the issuance of synthetic assets on the Ethereum blockchain. This platform brings non-blockchain based asset exposure, very important, to the crypto ecosystem, thus creating a more financial market, allowing anyone, anywhere, to gain on-chain exposure to a vast range of assets. Now let's explain that again. On-chain exposure to a vast range of assets. The platform brings non-blockchain asset-based exposure. What does that mean? Well, say I want to bet on Elon Musk and Tesla. What do I have to do? If I really think he's going to make all the other auto companies go out of business, if I really think everyone's going to be driving a Tesla in the next 10 years, if I really believe that, how can I maximize? Well, I can go buy Tesla stock. Great. How do I do that? Oh, you have to go get a brokerage account. You have to go to a trading platform. You have to go to Robinhood. You have to go this. And to do that, you have to prove who you are. I need your passport. I need a bank account. That's not why we came into DeFi, is it? We didn't want to have to deal with all that. Oh, I get a dividend. I have to declare that. That's a balance sheet item. What's the tax issuance? There's all these problems and issues that come with that. And so what Synthetics is saying, guess what? We'll give you a share of Tesla, but we'll make it a synthetic instrument. It'll track the price of Tesla. So if it goes up 10%, we'll give you 10% on your money. If it goes down 10%, we'll take it away. If you give it a dividend on Tesla stock, we'll give you the dividend on the blockchain asset, but now it'll be equivalent in the blockchain. Sounds great, right? Sounds perfect. And we can do that for foreign exchange. We could do that for real estate. We could do that for corner kicks. We could do that for the weather. We could do that for the temperature of Miami over the course of the winter if you want, and you could trade that synthetic instrument. What are the problems with that? Well, let's talk about the problems. This week, we saw with Iron Finance, they were trying to set up a stablecoin that was trying to match the price of the US dollar, $1 for the stablecoin. Sounds like a great idea, right? Guess what? When you buy the stablecoin, it's the price of $1 until it wasn't. And 2 days ago, the collateral that was backing that asset went into the toilet, and that price of the dollar went down to 70 cents. And guess what? Your beautiful synthetic instrument that now you could trade in a borderless way, in a peer-to-peer way, in a trustless way. Look how amazing it is. Look, Mom, now becomes almost worthless because you didn't understand that there was risk involved with that synthetic instrument. And so let's talk about some of those risks. First of all, we have collateral risks, like we saw with Iron Finance. Even something like USDC or Tether, those are all collateralized with Ethereum or other multi-collateral assets, but they still might not be there if the markets move. The value might not be there. Remember that. It's not the same as having $1 that you can go to the US for. And again, that has risks as well, but remember that with a synthetic instrument. Also, you've got technology risks, and that's always a problem. You don't know if these platforms are going to break. You don't know if they have bugs. You don't know if there's going to be a run on these new tokens and currencies. We saw that happen as well. In the real world, you have counterparty risk. Again, when I enter into a derivative, it's a contract between two people. Now, at the mercantile exchange, there is a centralized exchange. They have margin accounts. There's someone standing in the middle, but ultimately, it's a contract with another institution which could go bankrupt. And we've seen those things go bankrupt in the past. So still, again, your synthetic instrument, it's all well and good, but if the institution goes bankrupt, you lose everything. When I worked at Bankers Trust, you did a trade with Bankers Trust. We were a AA rated bank. If we went bankrupt, guess what? You've got nothing. So always remember that. And lastly, we've got regulation risk. We don't know what's going to happen down the line. So when you own a share of Tesla stock, you understand the regulations, the capital gains. When you own a share of synthetic Tesla stock, it's really not obvious what's going to happen in the future. So there are all sorts of risks involved. And then finally, there's just a liquidity risk. Will you even be able to sell that thing if you want to get out? So again, I am really bullish on the future of synthetic instruments. Inside the Academy, we're going to be learning about these and hopefully trading these where we can. But I also want to say, it's still early in the markets. We need to understand there's liquidity issues, there's collateral issues, there's technology issues, there's regulation issues. And it's something that you have to understand before you just go in there and start putting on your Japanese yen synthetic trade or your Tesla synthetic trade or your whatever. Be careful before you do it. There's also lots of risks involved there as well. So last question session from all of you. I want to get from you now. How do you rank yourself as a trader from 1 to 10? What's your single biggest challenge? Next, do you struggle with poor discipline? Do you get emotional about trading, and how? Third, have you ever traded crypto or DeFi options, and how was it? And fourth, what questions do you have for me about DeFi? And would you like to learn from me how to profit from what I'm calling the greatest dislocation of wealth in human history? I want to give a final wave to all of our people at Zoom. So give me a wave for everybody in there. We really appreciate our in-studio audience. It's great to see you here. I'm going to your questions right now. And again, if you've never left me a question before, no matter what platform you're on, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook as well, leave it for me now because I'm going to go to these questions. And I can't wait to go to you right now. And by the way, that gong that we heard out earlier was Andrew. He just joined, and guess what? He paid an ETH, right? It's about 1 ETH right now to join our course, which, by the way, is a bargain. It should be 10 ETH. But Andrew just sent us an ETH, so we appreciate you, Andrew. If you want to upgrade to premium, that's another ETH. And if you want to get into the Kings of DeFi Inner Circle, that's a few more. That's all on the inside, and we'll get you that. Andrew, I just want to say congratulations to you. Your life is about to change inside the DeFi Academy. Module 1 is ready. Go watch it right now. I need your introduction video in the Facebook group, and I'll see you Monday night, 6 p.m. London time on that live call. I can't wait to get started. All right, final questions and comments. Leave me a comment below if you're watching this later. If you're live, do one now no matter what. I got Balwinder Singh on Zoom says, how did you come up with the idea of starting the DeFi Academy? What motivates you as a professional as you do a lot of things with the same passion? You know, it's a great question, Balwinder. I was watching DeFi happen, but at the same time, I was running to be the next mayor of London. And I was all in on becoming the next mayor. I was spending 24 hours a day, honestly, solving all the issues that London had. And we came up with incredible solutions when it comes to housing and crime and getting the economy back on track and all these incredible ideas. And we went all in on this. But in the background, I was watching DeFi happen. I was watching these things. And every now and then I'd catch a video, or I'd speak to my good friend Tika, or I'd have a chat with Max Kaiser, or I'd talk to Robert Kiyosaki, and I'd be like, this is crazy. And when I had a few minutes to spare, and I didn't have much, I looked at what was going on, and I was like, wow, these crazy kids are innovating in DeFi the way I was innovating back at Bankers Trust in the 90s. I mean, these people are doing some rocket science stuff, and the tech is growing at a rate I've never seen in my life. This market has grown 100x in 12 months if you look at something like Uniswap volumes, which is one of the decentralized exchanges. Let me just be clear. This never happens in the world, okay? This doesn't happen in normal human environments where something grows that fast. Again, that's another gong. So someone's just joined our academy. I'll get their name soon for a shout out. So just to answer your question, when I saw that, I saw two things. I saw, first of all, this is amazing. This is innovative. And finally, I thought, you know what? This is the missing link because so many people in the world suffer because they don't have financial freedom and they don't have access to these financial markets. And last year, we spent our whole year fighting for freedom of speech. We put everything on the line. I nearly lost my entire YouTube channel at 2 million subscribers, was almost completely banned and deleted because we believed in a simple concept that you have the right to free speech. And guess what? We were going to fight for that right. So we put everything on the line. Then when I ran to be mayor of London, we fought for free and fair elections. The police tried to stop us and ban us from campaigning. They tried to silence us. But we said, no, we're going to keep fighting for that. And this seemed like one more human right that's not being fought for out there. And that's the right to have access to financial freedom. 4 billion people in the world right now don't have basic access, and 6 billion people don't have advanced access to these markets. And that, I think, is fundamentally wrong, and we can solve that problem and create great decentralized infrastructure. The last part of the answer for that question is that I worked in centralized finance for 15 years. I know what these banks do. And it's funny, people always say, Brian, where do you keep all your money? Do you put it in stocks and bonds? I say, no, I don't, because I don't trust them. I know what happens behind the scenes. I don't trust any of them because I know how they rip out margins and fees and they take people's money. And I'd rather see it done in a decentralized way. And that's why I'm super excited. And the more I talk about this space, the more I get excited, the more it feels like this is completely 100% congruent with everything I'm about. And in a strange way, it feels like I've been training my whole life for this moment of educating the world on DeFi. It's weird. But at 50 years old, I feel ready now to finally do the thing I was put on this earth to do. So it feels amazing. The response has been incredible. Again, thousands of people around the world have applied to be part of our academy, and we can't wait to get started. So thank you so much. And again, I appreciate all you being here. I love talking about this stuff, as you can tell. We got Jack Larkins on Zoom, says, how much wealth do I need in order to invest in Brian's DeFi program? My business has just started taking off, and I want to get quality education, but not sure if I am yet at the point where I have enough savings. Jack, a great question. The DeFi Academy is for this. It's to get you educated in what I think is the future of finance. It's to get you educated on what I know will be the greatest dislocation of wealth in human history. The problem is, Jack, is you probably don't understand these markets. You're probably too scared, for good reason, to invest in some of these markets, let alone invest in derivatives on these markets, and so you never will. So you'll wait 1 year, you'll wait 2 years, you'll wait 5 years, and you're gonna miss the whole boat. The problem is this could affect your business, this could affect your personal life. And so inside my academy, I'm actually not asking for people to invest a lot of money. And again, the beautiful thing about DeFi and the cryptocurrency markets is you can invest 10% of your portfolio, and that could be $50 or that could be 50 million. That's always up to you. Now, transaction fees is something we have to manage, and we'll talk about that in Module 2. But still, I'm not asking for people to put a lot of risk on the line. What I'm asking you to do is get educated in this space and be involved in building the infrastructure, which means education's key. So Jack, as my students will soon find out when we start this course, I'm all about action, action, action. We'll be pulling the trigger, putting skin in the game in these instruments, even if it's a small amount of money, so they understand what's happening. But Jack, I would say, you can learn now or you can learn later. One of them is gonna cost you a lot more. And trust me, learning now is the right thing to do. The DeFi Academy, like I said, it should be 10 ETH. But this is the first time we're doing this, so this is at a highly discounted price. Honestly, it's 8 hours of my personal live mentorship. That alone is worth 10x that. But again, we're super excited for this. So lock in your spot, put in your application, and we appreciate having you on Zoom. All right, Ben Fisher on Zoom. But again, we really appreciate our in-studio audience here. Says, hey, Brian, I like the idea of learning quickly and intensely. Mastery through immersion is likely to develop only over longer periods of time. So my question to you, what's going on after the 4 weeks program in terms of trading support? Great question, Ben. And look, I'm all about action, action, action. When I wanted to do my first Ironman endurance race 3 years ago, I didn't read a book about it. I didn't watch a Netflix show about it. I signed up for my Ironman race and I started training for it. And 90 days later, I ran one and I learned everything there was to learn about it. When I learned about podcasts 10 years ago and I was following Joe Rogan and I thought about starting a podcast, I didn't take a podcasting course. They didn't exist. I didn't go to university for broadcasting. I started a podcast, right? It's the quickest way to learn. But it also means that it takes time to learn. And so for the 4 weeks, you're right, we're gonna get everybody up the curve in a rapid way. And once people graduate from my 4-week DeFi Accelerator program, they will gain access to my DeFi Investment Wizards group. And this is a Facebook group where we all stay in touch and we communicate not only at a daily basis, almost on an hourly basis. So when something like Iron Finance happens yesterday, you've got 25 people around the world calling it exactly what's happening and what's going on behind the scenes. Most likely, some people in that group have already told you beforehand this could happen, and we're making sure we get perspectives from everyone in our group and me and everyone around the world. So this is a place where you stay in touch for all of those day-to-day decisions that you need. This is a trusted source of information. So we've already thought of that, but this is you only get access to DeFi Investment Wizards once you get accepted to and graduate from the accelerator. So again, you've already been vetted. This is only for top-level people, but that's how we stay in touch. And of course, then there's my Kings of DeFi Inner Circle, and that's private calls with me, with a small group of people, a Slack group, direct access to me via direct message, and that's a different thing, but that's for people that really want to invest in this infrastructure and hear all the conversations I'm having behind the scenes with these people, because I can't talk about what Tika's telling me. I can't talk about what I'm hearing from Robert and some of these people and these CEOs. When they tell me stuff off camera, I can't just broadcast this information. I can't just put this in a Facebook group, but I can talk about this in front of small groups behind the scenes. And again, we'll be putting together long-term investments to build this infrastructure for the next 10 years. So again, I couldn't be more excited about doing that, but that all happens in a separate way. But all of that is inside the DeFi Academy. So a great question. I appreciate you bringing that up. A couple more questions before we finish here. I got Marius on Zoom that says, I'm 1 on the Gecko scale of trading. I appreciate your honesty, Marius. We've all been there before. Everybody starts out as a white belt, as we say in jiu-jitsu. Marius says, I learned the hard way how important the discipline is. This is honesty here. He goes on to say, I am so motivated to get into the academy. I'm prepared to jump over any obstacle in my way. I believe it is my destiny. I was looking for purpose in my life and I just found it. I want to help people around the world to benefit from crypto and DeFi. Marius, I appreciate your sentiment. You are the reason I created the DeFi Academy. It's for people like you that feel alone in the world. And there's so many people out there. You know, there's millions of people in the world out there that have invested in crypto and DeFi, but they don't know what they're doing. They don't have a trusted source of advice. They have nobody to turn to for long-term mentorship, and they have no one to talk to about trading decisions. And that's a travesty. But again, you can't create these groups on Reddit and Twitter. You have to vet the audience. And so I am vetting these people. You have to apply, you have to invest to be part of my program, and you have to graduate my 4-week program in order to come into my DeFi Investment Wizards group. So again, we do something very good here at London Real, which is to attract the best people, to vet them, to get them to use the pay price to action to join our courses, and then we know we have a trusted source of people. And so that's what we've created here. We're super excited to get you involved and lots of other people as well. And so we want to bring everyone up the curve, and that's why we created the DeFi Academy. And I couldn't be more excited to join. I don't know if I gave Stephen a shout out, but Stephen R. just joined. That was the gong there coming out. And I would just say, if you're here right now, we literally have days left before we shut this down. And this is going to be your last chance to join me inside the DeFi Academy. And so I just want to say, the DeFi Academy is this. It's your chance to be part of the greatest dislocation of wealth in human history. Again, apply now to join my DeFi Academy. You're probably seeing a graphic here on the screen, but you can also go to londonreal.tv/DeFi. And here, I'm going to teach you how to profit from DeFi during what I'm calling the greatest dislocation of wealth in human history. Ultimately, this is about freedom. I want to give the power back to the people, and I want to enable billions of people worldwide to actually have access to the financial markets to improve their lives. I'm talking about basic borrowing, basic lending, basic trading and investing that's going to change the lives of their friends, their families, and their communities. That's why we created this academy, and you're going to be able to learn from the best in the business. Join me as I teach you how to profit from a $9 trillion a year marketplace. I'm looking for a small group of people, a select group of people who want to become part of history in what I'm calling the DeFi revolution. I'm looking for serious individuals only who want to build this exciting financial future. I want people that want to create real value for the end user and at the same time create generational wealth for yourself. I believe both can happen at the same time. In fact, I believe both must happen at the same time. As Andrew Carnegie once said, financial motive must prevail. The reason you build these infrastructures is not only so other people can have financial freedom and make more money, but also for you to make more money. It's a win-win situation. That's how innovation happens. So again, if you think you're one of these people, go to londonreal.tv/DeFi right now. Let me be clear before we end. This course is not for the following people. If you're a crypto day trader, please go somewhere else. I'm not interested. If you are into the get-rich-quick schemes and looking to make money quickly, please go somewhere else. There's plenty of people out there offering that in the crypto space. Next, I'm not looking for people into meme coins, and I'm not looking for internet trolls. I'm not looking for blockchain fanboys, and I'm not looking for crypto academics. Please, if you want to study the science of the blockchain, go somewhere else. I'm looking for people that want to pull the trigger and put skin in the game. I'm looking for a small group of people who want to invest themselves in this incredible technology and movement. I'm looking for people who want to pull the trigger, who want to get into the arena, whose faces are going to be marred by blood and sweat. I'm looking for people that want to put skin in the game, who are going to know great enthusiasms, great devotions, and great successes. To be clear, this is not the place to get rich quick. Go somewhere else. But my team and I are going to be building for the long term, 10 years, a team to invest in this critical infrastructure. Again, there's going to be some amazing opportunities, but also risks as well. And only people taking a long-term perspective need apply. Again, I'm going all on this for the next 10 years. I spent the last 10 years of my life going all in on London Real, which was democratizing information for billions of people around the world. 500 million people have watched my content. I'm going to do the same in DeFi, or decentralized finance. We're going in 10 years. We're going to help billions of people. If you want to join my elite team, your chance is here now. It's the DeFi Accelerator. It's the keys to unlock a $9 trillion marketplace. And again, it's 4 weeks. It's 4 modules. This is by invitation only. That's how you get there. invitation only. Go to londonreal.tv/DeFi. And if you join us, this is what you're going to get. Again, 4 weeks, 8 hours of live calls from me. Week 1 is DeFi Explained. We are decoding the history of this complex marketplace. I'm going to start off with Bitcoin creation in 2008, all the way up to Ethereum 2.0 and beyond. How did we get here? And why does this phenomenon represent the biggest dislocation of wealth in human history? Only by understanding the history can we see our future. That's a great quote from Marcus Aurelius. I'm going to go deep. We're talking Bitcoin creation in 2009, Ethereum creation in 2015, the launch of Maker, smart contract evolution. We're going to get into the ICO boom and bust of 2017, Ether Delta, the first DEX. We're going to get into Uniswap, Black Thursday, the DeFi summer, Yearn, yield farming, the future, and more. And I can't wait to get excited. Right now, my students are going through Module 1 as we speak, learning the history so they can be prepared to trade for the future. So that's week 1. And week 2, it gets fun. We're going to get into the arena. We're going to place our bets. I'm going to show you how to efficiently buy Bitcoin, Ether, DAI, stable coins, and altcoins. I'm going to show you how to bulletproof and understand your hot and cold storage systems. We're going to understand centralized exchanges, decentralized exchanges, and which marketplace suits you. And finally, you're going to execute your first swap across multiple platforms. That's week 2. Then we get into week 3. This is my favorite stuff. We're talking about decentralized exchanges, DApps, yield farming, and complex instruments. We're going to finance your coins. I'm talking yield farming basics. We're going to go into complex money markets explained. You're going to understand liquidity pools, smart contracts, and insurance. We're going to go into derivatives, the exciting future of DeFi. I'm talking synthetic stocks, synthetic commodities like I spoke of today, and how to price call and put options. And of course, the last week, week 4, is where it all comes together. That's where I'm going to show you how to bet on the future of DeFi to position your portfolio for the 22nd century. I'm going to show you how to manage risk. It's a game of controlling emotions, how to place asymmetrical trades for long-term gains, how to manage a portfolio of assets, how to set up and understand stop-loss orders, how to continually educate yourself on new market phenomenon because the best is yet to come. But that's week 4, but there's more because we've got a bonus. This is how to trade DeFi for long-term gains, and this is where I share my positions and picks for the future. I explain how I manage my risk and my emotions, and I teach you what I learned for 30 years of trading the financial markets. Of course, I've already spoken about the DeFi Investment Wizards. This is an invitation-only group. You have to graduate from my accelerator, and then that's where we share and trade information on an hourly basis. It's going to be how we invest in the long run. And the course itself, 8 hours of live calls, personal coaching by me, exclusive access to our e-learning platform with all of our videos, workbooks, and links. You've got 10 members of my team, team leaders, lead instructors, community managers, accountability professionals, working with you every single day to get you up the curve. You've got a dedicated group for posting your videos, your assignments. There are a limited number of spaces available, and we're shutting this thing down. The truth is, the 8 hours of personal coaching from me would cost you 10 times the price of this, 10 ETH, easily. We are discounting this down to 1/10 of that price because this is the first time we're doing this. Again, this is an incredible opportunity. I can't say that enough, but this is only for serious players only. So again, this is your last chance. Apply now. Go to our sites. You're going to see this form. Put in your name, your phone number, your email, and then sell me. Put in that application. Say, Brian, this is why I deserve to be inside your academy. Tell me what you bring to the table. I don't care if you've got crypto trading experience. I don't even care if you don't have a lot of money, but what do you have? Education, enthusiasm. Do you want to work hard? Do you see the future? Are you with me on my vision? That's what I want to hear from you. And of course, the other things help as well. Again, this is what we're talking about. And so this all comes down to my final question to you. You know, I think if you're watching me now or if you're hearing this broadcast later, you're probably here for a reason. This is a fork in the road for your life, all right? There's going to be your life after this call. Perhaps joining me in the DeFi Academy and embracing DeFi and maybe spending your entire life for a worthy cause, something your grandchildren will talk about one day, that you were part of the DeFi infrastructure build that helped billions of people. Or you can keep living your life as you're living it right now. Keep making those same decisions. How's that working out for you, right? This is your choice. And it all comes down to what you're going to do with this moment. Do you want to apply? Do you want to join me for this incredible adventure inside the DeFi Academy? Or are you happy with how things are going with you now? This all comes down to a few moments. It could make the difference between whether you apply right now and whether you don't. And so I always go back to my favorite scene in the movie Wall Street, and it's with Bud Fox and Gordon Gekko. And of course, Bud Fox is He's the young trader. He doesn't know much about the markets, but he knows he wants to be involved. He knows this is the future. He knows where all the fun and excitement, this is where the money is going to be. And he knows that the only way to get there is with Gordon Gekko. Gordon Gekko looks good. He's got those beautiful suits. He's got all the knowledge. He knows how to trade. He's got the insights. He's got the strategies. He knows how to make money. And Bud knows there's only one way to learn this, and you got to learn it from Gordon Gekko. And so Bud gets that one chance. You know, he cons his way into his waiting room. He's got that box of Cuban cigars. He talks to Natalie and says, please, Natalie, just give me 5 minutes with Gordon. I promise you, he won't regret this. And she says, wait. She makes him wait for 3 hours in the waiting room. And finally she says, 5 minutes. And Bud Fox goes up to the mirror and he adjusts his tie and he says, Natalie, life all comes down to a few moments. This is one of them. And he goes in and he pitches Gordon the Great and he starts doing business with him. Well, this is your moment. This is your moment. So pitch me. Go to that forum. Tell me what you got. Come on for this incredible ride. We're going to go on an amazing adventure together. Come on to the inside. Find out what's really going in this space. Learn from the insiders. Build for the long-term infrastructure of the future. And let's do something good. Let's give financial freedom back to the billions of people that need it. This is the choice you have right now. Life all comes down to a few moments. What are you going to do? And that's my question to you. The answer is simple. Apply now. Come inside the DeFi Academy. Go to londonreal.tv/DeFi. It's simple. It'll take you about 3 or 4 minutes. Again, sell me. And I look forward to reading your application. I'm going to finish here right now, and I'm going to go review them. But again, this is your chance to get into my office. This is your chance to pitch me. Do it. I look forward to listening to your pitch. And I'll say one last thing. You know what? Gordon, as busy as he was, as badass as he was looking for the right Bud Fox to come into his office. You know, he was looking for that hungry kid, that hungry person that wanted to do whatever it takes to get involved and help him build this incredible infrastructure. And I'm looking for those Bud Foxes. So come on in, help me build this incredible system for the future. Pitch me, and let's go on some incredible adventures together. I'm looking forward to it. And again, I couldn't be more excited. I want to thank you to everybody who's already pulled the trigger and joined me inside the Academy. Again, I'm so impressed by the level of quality students in there. These are next level people, and I'm so proud to call you part of my DeFi Academy family. We're going to work a lot together in the future. We're going to make a lot of money together. We're going to do a lot of good together, and I can't wait to get started. So thank you so much. I appreciate everybody tuning in. It's my honor to give you some of this knowledge. I hope it helps. I know I give you a lot of information, and it's hard to process all of it. That's okay. Just get started. Find yourself a trusted source of information out there. Find someone that you can go to for advice. Find someone you can go to for mentorship, because it's a jungle out there in these crypto markets and DeFi, and you'll lose your shirt in a hot minute unless you have the right peer group, and that's what you've got to find. So again, I appreciate everybody who joined the Academy. I look forward to reading your application, and I look forward to seeing everybody on that first live call. It's going to be an incredible adventure. And once that course is done, we're going to go forward inside the DeFi Investment Wizards group, and I can't wait to get started. So thank you all so much. If you've enjoyed this, share this video with a friend, tell them what we're doing, like, subscribe, notifications, all that stuff. And I look forward to seeing you next time on DeFi Live. Thank you so much. Bye.